Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Storytime with Mikey. This is a bit of a different type of episode of this series. It's more of like a special rant edition episode of this series. I want to talk about family, specifically my family, considering they're the main focal point of this series, of which I talk about occurrences in my life. And this is very recent, and by recent I mean just within the last couple of days. But to give you a backstory, the vast majority of my family is very religious Christian, and I in that family am the black sheep. While I do believe in there being a god and a devil, I don't worship either one. I've always believed in ghosts. I've always believed in spirits and demons, and me not worshiping their god has caused many of them to try and teach me the ways of God. First off, you cannot force people to learn about your God or worship your God if they don't want to do so. Just getting that off the bat. If you're doing that, then you're a horrible person, just so you know. But I have a family member who used to be a church deacon, and he had always been upset that I do things that's in his mind, in the Word of God, are not Christian-like. Well, again, not a Christian. Spiritualist, thank you very much. Because along with my family, the vast majority being religious, they're also very homophobic. And I'm always rather blacklisted because I'm openly supportive of gay rights, lesbian rights, bisexual rights, transgender rights, pansexual rights, and asexual rights. And openly asexual here, openly ace. And certain family members are angry that their child is asexual, because, oh my God, our bloodline will end with my child because he won't have a descendant. He won't have any way to continue our family. I can't help that. I can't help that you want to have grandchildren. I can't help that you want me to do things that I cannot do, because I can't help who I am. This is me right here. I'm also an ally of the LGBTQIA plus community. I am not a masculine man. I wear pink clothing. I wear, on occasion, female clothing. I paint my goddamn nails, to their dismay. And I am looked down by some people in the family because of who I am and who I choose to support, because of the fact that everyone is human and everyone deserves to be treated equally, regardless of who they are, their gender, their race, their sexuality, their religion, or any type of physical or mental disabilities. Everyone deserves to be treated fairly. And some people, specifically Christians, cannot understand that. And then there's another person in my family that I have talked about a couple times in this series. If you've watched every episode of the series, or at least the vast majority of the series, you'll know this person quite well from the stories that I've had to spill regarding them. And it's my grandmother, my mother's mother. You see, I'm going to come out right and say it that come right out and say that I avoid drama. I avoid drama like the plague. I don't like drama. I always say, if you have drama and you're watching my videos, don't talk about it in the comments or in my live chats over the time when I'm live streaming. because everyone here, I want people here to have fun. If you're going to have drama, do it someplace else. Don't bring your shit here, please. This is not the time or the place for that stuff. There's not a channel for that. So I avoid drama like it's the plague. And my grandmother causes a lot of drama with the family. And she's always trying to get me involved, specifically between her and my mother. Her and my mother hate each other with a passion. They just cannot stand each other. And I'm always caught in the middle of their fucking bickering. And I make it no secret on this channel, everyone who watches my videos knows, I have horrible mental health. I am a basket case, so to speak, with my mental health regarding depression, anxiety, and paranoia. And I have tried so hard to explain that drama is killing me. It is. It does. But my grandmother doesn't understand that by order of my own psychiatrist, I cannot be involved in family drama. I can't be involved in any kind of drama, whether it's family drama, drama outside my front door, or drama on the internet, because my mental health is tanking horribly. And it has been tanking horribly since I was in high school, and it's been worse since 2020 when I lost my best friend. My best friend took his own life because he himself had horrible mental health and a family that couldn't understand him, a family that could not accept him. I talked about that before. And it's like my emotional stability has been shot to pieces since 2020. You may have noticed the change in the way I do videos, that my personality is not as upbeat as it was, and I wish it was, but it isn't, since 2020. I used to be loud and overly expressive and try to be funny all the time, and now I still try to be funny, but it's not with the same enthusiasm as it once was, as much as I love making videos, and as much as I love doing acting in the community theater. It's just, when you lose a person that is, without a doubt, your platonic soulmate, a friend that you were destined to become, a person that you were destined to become friends with. And we've been friends since elementary school. And you lose that. And one of the worst ways possible that you could ever lose anybody. That does something to you. That takes a part of who you are away. That rips a part of who you are out. It's like literally my heart was ripped in half. I only have half a heart. That's why my emotions don't allow me to care as much as they used to. I often describe myself as permanently broken. I can't be fixed, because the loss that I suffered was so great. And I know there are many people out there who can relate to that. Plenty of people can unfortunately relate to what I'm going through. And people out there, just like me, have families like I do, just as I described them. But some of them are just too afraid, unfortunately, to talk about it, especially on a platform like this. And my grandmother recently, on Thanksgiving, of all days, wanted to bring up more drama. And say, "Oh, you're acting differently towards me. Oh, I thought you loved me. I took care of you. Yes, you raised me when I was a child because my mother had a problem with medication when she was younger, when I was younger, when she was in her 30s, and I was a child. She couldn't take care of me because she had addictions. My mother got over that. But I lived with my grandparents for so long that I couldn't go back to my mother. I couldn't readjust. My grandfather loved me to death, took care of me, spoiled me rotten. You could say he spoiled me too much. My grandmother, it's always been rocky with her. She's always tried to be caring and loving, but her attitude, her anger issues, just so bad. And for her to berate me the way she does when she is angry, when I tell her that I don't want to be involved in her stuff with my mother or anybody else in the family, I can't handle the way I used to, because for the last 4 years that I lived with her before I moved out on my own, she was very abusive, physically and emotionally, and I've talked about that uh, slightly over the years, that I was a victim of mental and physical abuse for a period of 4 years, and I made the decision to leave for my own safety, because I knew one day that I wouldn't be able to have another choice. And since middle school, I've been actively writing poetry. I am a writer. I'm a poet. I write poetry, but none of my poems are cheerful, so to speak. My poems are very dark and depressing. And for years, I wanted to write a book about with my poetry, and I never thought I could up until recently. I do have a book. And this is the author's proof. That's why it says that little watermark there. But this is the author's proof. But my book is published on Amazon. And the first poem in the book is a detailed account, and it's summarized, of my last 4 years living with my grandmother and how I left. You see, but it's something that she should be proud of. That she was the inspiration for a poem that I wrote about how badly I was treated, and that's the first damn poem inside this book. The other poems in the book are about my battle with depression and dealing with family and the loss of my friend. There's one cheerful poem in the book. It's about Halloween, because I was putting the book together in October. And I thought, well, I might as well have one holiday poem and then make it Halloween. But I wrote that poem the first night I was living on my own, and I knew that if I'm going to put this book together, that it needs to be the first poem in the book to set the mood and set the standard of what this book is about and what you can expect from the other poems in the book. And there are about 20 poems in this book. But tragedy inspires the best in writers, gives them a lot to work with. And my family and their attitude and the way they treated me and the way that I've battled with depression and anxiety and many more things were all spilled out into that book. And now I'm making this video talking about my family and my life and dealing with them, and how some of them are deplorable people. And I'm thinking this to be a very long episode of this series. I can't tell. My eyes are horrible. I don't have my glasses on, and I'm partially blind. But I just wanted to make this episode and rant so I can feel a little bit better, because what happened with my grandmother recently, and what happened with my mother. Because as much as me and my mother don't get along, I do love her. Even though we can't get along, I do love her. I would never wish anything bad on her. And she recently had a health scare, so I'm still trying to deal with that. I'm still trying to recover from the paranoia I had and the worry I had from that. And now to have my grandmother on the warpath again, it's making me feel very bad. And I always feel better when I'm writing and when I'm talking about my feelings. And I can't exactly call my therapist at 3 o'clock in the morning. So pop down and record a video talking about it. So I want to thank you all for sitting here and listening to me ramble for so long, and talk about my life with my family and my little mentioning of the book. But you can find the book on Amazon if you're curious. And thank you for watching. I hope you all are doing well, and I will see you all in the next video. Cheers.